This time on Wrecking Crew Hobbies, we take this four-wheel drive TT-02 and we turn it into a two-wheel drive sprint car. Alright guys, this is going to be a longer video. I'm going to break it up into 3 parts. This is going to be part 1. Part 1, I'm just going to be assembling the chassis. I'm going to do it under time lapse, and while I'm doing it, whenever I come up to an instance where I stray away from the build in the manual, I will come in and tell you guys what I'm doing. Like, I'm going to leave the front drive line out, the front differentials out, because sprint cars are supposed to be four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. This one here I did for mock-up, and it is still four-wheel drive. But from here on, I'm going to be doing two-wheel drive, which is more accurate to a real sprint car. This build, I'm going to be using the standard on-road, and in my next build, my version 2 build of the sprint car, I'm going to be using the buggy version of the TT-02 in hopes that I don't have to use the spacers that I do to use these rims and wheels and get the right spacing. So I'm going to get to tearing this open and getting started, guys. I'll see you at the next change. See ya. So upgrades I will be using during the build are these Yeah Racing shocks. The stock shocks that come with this don't have oil. They're pretty much a pogo stick. This comes with 4 different sets of springs, so I can tune them out there on the track once I get them out there. I'm also going to be using some fast steady bearings, as this comes with bushings, and bearings are better, less resistance. I'm going to build these sprint cars to be probably the slower cars of the ones I'm building, because they have all the wings and all that, and you crash them. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a real sprint car crash, but they're not pretty. And I just feel it'd be the same way with an RC car. So I'm going to keep these slow, but they're still going to be a lot of fun. So let's get to the build. One more thing before I get started. If you're going to work on a Tamiya kit, they run on, what is it, JST hardware. Buy the Tamiya tools. They make a difference. They really do. Steps 4 and 5 in the manual can be skipped. We will not be using a front drive line. We are not installing the front wheel drive portion of this build, nor the front support bearing or the front pinion gear to actuate the front diff. The next step you'll need to do is 6, and you only really need to build 1 differential. However, you can build them both to have one as a backup, and maybe use it as a tuning option. Use some different thickness, viscosity grease in there to slow it down, to speed it up a little. I'm gonna get back to building. On step 7, all you need to do is install the diff cover, not the differential nor the bearings. You want to keep that front end weight down. So in doing step 18, do not install the drive cups because there is no differential in place, and do not install the dog bones as we are not making the front wheels drive. They're just going to be rollers like a sprint car would be, all the power in the back. All right, so when you get to step 32 in the manual, which is going to be installing your wheel hexes, throw those away. I have already pre-Loctited my axles. I'm letting them dry. In the front, you're going to be using a 20mm extension, and in the rear, you're going to have a 25mm extension. This keeps your wheels spaced out off of the chassis and gives you the correct spacing. Alright guys, here we are so far. Pretty much the kit is done. I'm working on the electronics. I'm pretty sure you guys remember back in the second video when I made the Tom Tilford car, I pulled the electronics out and said I was going to be using them. This is the project I'm using them on. So I'll take the XL5, install it. I've cut one of the tabs off of the bottom. It slits in there just nicely. I'm going to drill one hole so I can run a bolt up and a nut down, and I will also use Velcro to keep it nice and planted and well protected. Because again, I'm not going brushless. I want these a little slower. Other than that, driveline components were left out: front diff, front dog bones, the driveline itself. So I'm gonna get these in electronics put in, and then we'll start moving on to getting the cage and stuff installed. All right, so what I've done is I've drilled a 7/64 inch hole here where this M3 by 16 button head screw is. I've laid the Velcro in the system. Sits right down like that. So be really secure along with the Velcro, as well as I'll have a nut. Alright guys, I got all the electronics in. Took me a little while to get this flash guy figured out. I usually use Spectrum, and the buying process was just a little bit more to figure it out, not having done it. But everything's good. Two-wheel drive instead of four-wheel drive. I'm going to get this all tucked in, and then I'm going to end this video here, and we will come back and start video 2, start getting the cage put on and the body fit. And video 3 for paint. Actually, it's going to be hydro dipping this time. It's going to be fun, or should be cool. Alright guys, see you next time.